Welcome to another episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. My name is Martha, my pronouns are she, her, and I'm here with
Kiki, my pronouns are she, her.
And you will hear more of the episodes from Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal from Tuska Festival in Helsinki. We also talk to up-and-coming band Royal Sorrow from Finland about resilience.
Give it up for Royal Sorrow, everyone! Welcome to our second session of the day at Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal. My name is Kiki, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the host of the Bleeding Metal podcast and the host of Tuska Forum as well. I'm so happy to have our next guests, Royal Sorrow. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
Sure. So here's Royal Sorrow. I'm Markus.
I'm Janne. I'm Eero.
And we're a Finnish metal band. You could call it alternative metal or prog metal with hints of pop and whatever. We do cool music.
Yeah, fair assessment.
Awesome. And as you can see from the title of the session, we are going to talk about resilience, change, strength, and new beginnings. You can also submit your questions to our guests yourselves. I will be reading them at the end of the session. But we just want to get to know you all a little better. So would you please tell us a little bit more about your backgrounds, your beginnings?
Sounds really good and really happy to be here. Awesome topic. The resilience for us goes way back because we're friends from early childhood. I think, 12 years old is where you could see the start of our common music thing. These guys know each other from like 7 years old or something.
Yeah, we used to live as next door neighbors. Grew up like when we were 6 years old or something. When we started playing together with Janne, and then Markus kind of hopped on board from junior high. Is probably the correct term in English. This has been going on since those days, and we've been doing it with a lot of passion, and we think it's finally paying off. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
There's definitely a sense that we've been doing music together forever, and we've grown up together at the same time. There's been a band involved at the same time, and over the years, through the course of many things, evolved into what is now called Royal Sorrow, and that's a cool story.
And we want to know all about it. But first of all, how was each of your upbringings yourselves? Did you all have family members that are musicians? Was there a lot of music playing in your household, in your neighborhood, if you two grew up together? How was that?
Yeah, a lot of music, and shout out to mom and dad, they are here today. A lot of music was always playing. My parents are not musicians, but a lot of music was always present. We all went to the same music schools, and always we were encouraged to pursue everything that we wanted. Music was early on passion from the get-go. But you can, Janne, continue on your...
Yeah, my father is actually a musician, and he taught me some guitar chords when I was younger, but I'm actually a drummer myself, so it started very early on listening to whatever my dad was listening to. Like the first Metallica album I got was from him, and that's where it started. And yeah.
Right.
Yeah, then I got it from Janne after that, and that's how it...
It spreads.
That's how it goes, yeah.
Before we continue, I think that is so lucky, to be honest, to have parents that are metalheads too. That is so rad. I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, it's cool.
What was it for you? What was your childhood like?
Sounds pretty much the same. We don't have musicians in the family, but it's always been a part. And my earliest childhood memories are music playing in the background in our living room when I was 2 years old or something. Really distinct memories. So in a sense, yeah, I was pushed to like take piano lessons and didn't like it, but music's been a part. And at the point where I actually started to like actually get interested in it, I've always been really supported by my parents, and they've definitely enabled a lot of this.
Yeah. Do you have siblings that are also into music, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One little sister.
Yeah, I have also a little brother, but he's somewhat into music, but not as much as I am.
Big sister and little brother, and they're also here.
Well.
Shout out to them.
Whole family.
That's beautiful. That is really necessary.
Yeah.
We were just talking in our past session to Charlotte Wessels about the power of community and how we really need the support of our community. And that is the first community that we have and that we meet when we come into this world, family. So that's really beautiful that you have so much going on for you. Tell us a little bit about the first band that you were playing in together. How did that develop into the change that you now have gone for?
Yeah, you can go really way back if you want to start from like your early band roots, right?
That Eero said earlier was that we grew up next door neighbors. We started to gravitate towards music at the same age, and we started to play different instruments that kind of suited together. So Eero started to play bass, and I started to play the drums, and that's kind of the rhythm section already there. So we played a lot together, and then we found some same-minded people from our school. Some of them are previous band members, but Markus was found pretty early on as well. Then it grew from there.
Was it the typical tale of we started playing covers together? What was the first cover that you played together?
I think we played some Lordi at the beginning.
Wow.
We were hardcore Lordi fans before the Eurovision stuff, and I remember being back then somehow annoyed that everybody started digging, the band when they won the competition. But we started writing really early on. That was the main thing, I think, for us. Janne's dad got us like a studio space and a recording engineer when we were like 9 years old or something.
We got to try out a lot of this stuff way early, so it was super helpful in our career.
It was all original song, so 3 or 4 tracks of own music.
Yeah, we started to write really early, and that's been the passion all the time. I've been writing lyrics since I was like 10 years old or something, so yeah, going way back.
I think that's a big part of the whole story is that since the get-go, being able to express yourself and do your own songs has been there, and that has not changed over the years. Maybe how it sounds and how it comes out is now a bit different than when we were 10 years old, but like the main idea is still there. So not that much has changed.
Wow. Now that is the tale of resilience, how you have kept going through all this time. What happened afterwards? You came into the band?
Yeah, that was when we formed Edge of Haze, which was the band we previously had. That band went on for a decade. We played Tuska like 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
3 years ago, yeah.
And that was kind of the culmination. We played Tuska, we played our first gig abroad at the same year, and that was when we were recognized by a label, and Inside Out Music asked us to rebrand ourselves or reinvent ourselves to make this new project where we could express ourselves fully, and that was super awesome.
Over the years, I'd say Edge of Haze is a story of starting from that hobby thing to try to grow it into a more serious thing where we have these ideals of being able to play festivals and maybe sign to a label, and the story kind of ends from Edge of Haze's perspective in a nice place where we have reached those things and then are able to then take it to the next level with the label. It was a weird couple of days because we had already given up on like, okay, maybe the label is not going to happen at this point, and then a really random email or something just arrived one day. We spent maybe a couple of days thinking their offer, which was that, hey, we like your thing, you're obviously really talented, but would you be interested to try to start it from the get-go and with us? After all of those years, still carrying the high school things with us, it didn't need any more time. We were like, actually, this is the perfect thing to do right now. That's the point where Royal Sorrow was kind of conceived, I guess.
And then we spent 2 years just writing new stuff. So like, let's leave all this high school stuff. That's now in the past. Clean slate. What do we come up with? And it's definitely like Royal Sorrow, and it's not like Edge of Haze. Obviously, there are going to be similarities, but it's like the new sound. We worked on that for 2 years, and then we got to the release stage last fall. So yeah, it's been really cool to see how people react to the new music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not playing any of your old songs anymore?
No.
Spoiler alert.
Tonight is going to be extra special. It's the first ever Royal Sorrow show. We have a 60-minute slot. Initially, when it was announced to us that they want us to play an hour in Tuska, we were like, how are we going to pull this off? We don't have enough material for this. This was like last year. And so we basically had a deadline for the album so that we can play here. Because otherwise we don't have a set full of music. So tonight you're going to hear the full album from front to back.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yep.
So you're even doing a release show type of thing as well?
You could say the album release will come later during the fall, but this is the first glimpse that you're going to get on what the album is going to sound like. And it's a fun thing. I don't think with Edge of Haze we maybe played one show where we would play the full album like this. This is a really cool way to start, and definitely knowing that we have to have this many songs, it has motivated us to think of an album that is nice to play from beginning to an end.
Right. It challenged you in that way to
Yeah.
write it
They go hand in hand like that.
in that sense. Yeah. Is there maybe a lyrical concept behind it? Would you think of it as a concept album?
We were just talking about this. Somebody said it doesn't sound like a concept album, it sounds like an album of concepts, which is sort of fitting because we didn't set out to do a concept album. We liked those, but it wasn't the thing. But we realized we were writing topics that were kind of close together, a lot of similar ideas, which kind of fit together now nicely. It's an introspective album that goes deep into the human mind and our own anxieties and like mental health things, and then finding the light in those darker parts.
I love that. That is a big topic in our podcast. Mental health is something that we talk about all the time because it affects us all every day. What are your experiences? What are the topics that you talk about in that sense?
Obviously, there's one song, Give In, is about giving into anxiety and like just letting it roll over. There's single songs that have like these themes, and the songs that I wrote were like about addiction to anything, like addiction to a person or addiction to a substance or whatever. Those topics, and trying to find the light in the dark. That was a big theme.
Yeah, even going to a more existential place, right?
Yeah, the last track, Samsara, which was released on Thursday, I was thinking about the meaning of life in a song, like thinking about it in terms of religious concepts like Samsara, and how everything is transient and nothing really lasts, but it's still okay, was kind of the song's meaning. And yeah, we explored those themes a lot. Also, one prominent theme is facing your own personal shadows, or kind of becoming one with them and accepting that you have these like dark sides about you, and you don't really have to fight them because that can make it even worse. There's a lot of songs about that, and yeah, all sorts of different themes. I encourage you, if you want to look into the lyrical concepts and themes, that will be in the booklet and online as well. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You were talking about writing about anxiety. How was that experience?
Really interesting, because the song in question draws from real feelings that I've had at that specific point in time. And normally when I write, I tell myself I'm not talking about my life, and this is not the feeling that I have, but it usually turns into having more pieces of my own life than I would have previously thought. It was cool to like using a song and songwriting as a tool to allow yourself to explore your feelings and your thoughts even deeper. And then, because oftentimes those are really hard feelings and really deep and really big feelings that is really hard to put into words. So when you don't tell yourself, okay, I'm now doing a therapeutic thing where I have to be my own therapist and write a diary or something, I'm just doing a song. That's a nice tool of like finding those words and arranging your thoughts in a coherent way. And then, of course, at the same time, it's really cool when you have worked those thoughts into a lyrical form to be able to share it with the audience, but even before that, with the guys who then have their own take and maybe like, okay, would you say this in this sense? Does this make sense? And then I'm suddenly like having revelations myself.
And learning about your own mind and your own personality.
Exactly.
Right. That's something really interesting as well. You just mentioned the word therapy, and you are kind of doing your own therapy through songwriting. In certain societies, sadly, it's still a taboo to talk about therapy, to go to therapy. I think it was 4 years ago when I was visiting Helsinki that there were these posters all over the city saying how therapy is okay. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to ask for professional help and to go to therapy. Is that something that you do yourselves?
Yeah, I've been to therapy, and yeah, I think it helps a lot. Professional help can be really helpful if you have like a dark web of thoughts and you can't really decipher what is what. That's been helpful with that. But also the support and everybody who's close to you. The fact that we also get to share these deep, dark feelings with each other and have a therapy session amongst ourselves is really important as well.
Yeah.
A safe space to talk about everything that you're going through, and then you get to do a song of it, and then you release it to the world. And it's kind of weird and wild at the same time, really exciting and also scary sometimes, because those are really personal stuff usually that you're going through.
Of course.
I guess what I'm trying to say, there are many forms of therapy that you can have, and one might not be better than the other. Depends on the person, what works for you.
It definitely feels cool that you can sense that over the past couple of years, it has become more common to talk about it openly. So some sort of advertising or marketing or whatever has done its job. Well, we live in bubbles, but in my personal bubble, it definitely feels like we're talking more about that than even 5 years ago, which is amazing. And if we have any role in being able to open people to explore that, that's an amazing thing as well with our own art.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. The fact that you are talking about this makes a huge statement for your audience and for your communities around you, your family and friends as well, because we live in this patriarchy in our society, and that means not only that women are oppressed and less valued, etc., but it also means that masculinity has a cost. And the cost of masculinity is that men also have to fit a specific stereotype and meet specific standards and expectations, and usually that means not being able to show any emotion, not being able to open up among each other even. So it's really important that you have these conversations, not only for yourselves in private, but that you live by example and help people as well talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. One thing that I've been thinking about lately or last several years is crying is a superpower. It really truly helps with dealing with stuff. I think for a long time, for some reason, I didn't cry, probably because of the patriarchy and the models and everything that you see all around. But now I think it always feels good when you get something and you feel it actually like fully. And you experience it in the moment, and then in some ways it becomes cathartic. So yeah, it's really good to cry. Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, men and boys, please cry.
Please cry.
Yeah.
Yes, and then to just also let it go. You can feel your feelings in that moment, and then they can pass quicker.
Yeah, you're not one with your feelings. Yeah,
That's true.
Huge.
That's really nice about putting those feelings into songs, is that you get to live those feelings in a specific moment, but you can choose when to feel them. It's only a specific time that you can choose. It doesn't need to
Overtake your life.
overtake your life. That's a good way to put it. That's a really cool part about art.
Absolutely. And one of the messages of your art, I'm talking about specifically the song Metrograve. You quoted on the press around the song that the song is about empowerment and fighting for things that give you meaning, but also ignoring dogmas. So what is the meaning? What are you fighting for?
That's a deep question. I think art is a way to deal with emotions, first and foremost, and expressing them out loud. And that's a super helpful way to manifest yourself and your feelings, and also do something creative. That's the best definition for me.
I think like seeking some liberation from your own insecurities, fears, that sort of thing, so that you can free yourself from your own toxic behavior patterns or whatever, and also find a place where you can be who you are with no fear of judgment from you yourself or from others. It's like have no fear and go for what you really want to go for, and be true to yourself. That's the meaning of Metrograve in a nutshell.
Is that what motivated you through this whole change of not only your brand, but I guess a part of yourselves also had to let go of the art that you had created with your old band as well? Was that a grieving process, and was this the motivation to keep going?
Can you, Markus, please share the last line of Edge of Haze and what is the first line of Royal Sorrow?
Well,
It's a coincidence, but this is a good story.
well, overall, it's a process, I'd say. In our minds, there's a feeling of letting go of the past and embracing a new future, but at the same time, we're like constantly moving forward, and the art, we're not like deleting it from existence. It's still out there, and it's still a part of us, independent of whether we're pursuing the band that has released that song. So the final Edge of Haze, final song, ends with the words, "Our past must go so that we can be reborn." And we didn't know at that point that we were about to let go of this kind of certain past. At the same time, Royal Sorrow was beginning to be formed, and we were starting to plan for new songs. And over the course of these couple of years, the song that is first on the album was selected to be the song which begins with the words "let go." And those two songs combined, the last song of Edge of Haze and the first song of Royal Sorrow, yeah, it tells the story of letting go of the past, but at the same time, it feels like there's a connection or a bridge between those. So we're not like trying to cut anything, we're just moving to a different type of future at that point.
It's a bridge to a new place.
Yeah, but it was a happy accident. We didn't plan it that way. It was a part of a concept album. The Edge of Haze last album is a concept album, and that is related to that. But we were, at some point during the writing process of this new one, we were kind of like, whoa, that is actually sick. You know? Yeah.
And you're also not hiding your past. You are openly talking about it. The story of letting that go and starting a new chapter again together as the same people, it absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. We're definitely not hiding it. We're not advertising it either. It's something that people have been asking about a lot, and most have been understanding and fully behind it. But it's not something we advertise. We want to focus on the new band and promote the new band as much as possible.
Yeah. Let's see how people have responded. The audience wants to ask you 5 questions now. And Anonymous wants to know what your biggest influences are.
That's a really interesting question because I feel like we have a ton of different influences, both personally for each member and as a band. I think from the metal scene, our influences align to an extent. There are more traditional proggy things and then the new sounds that we find. Leprous, Meshuggah, Catatonia.
Yeah. Swallow the Sun, Metallica, Lordy.
A lot of cool things, but at the same time, each of us has really different inspirations. I'm really into like really over-the-top K-pop or J-pop, which is so logical as a metal artist, but at the same time I feel like there are so many different ways to express the same kind of feelings in different genres, and that's a really cool part, is to learn, okay, these kind of, I don't know, vocal harmonies evoke this kind of feeling in that genre. Why doesn't it work here? Oh, it does actually. So then you can take K-pop harmonies into metal and it sounds cool.
Yeah, for sure. I like to listen to a lot of jazz and symphonic stuff. So it's really cool to go to a symphonic orchestra concert and experience that. And it's all sorts of art that somehow resonates, and you can bring something fresh to the metal stuff. You can get to explore all sorts of different stuff. So yeah.
And keep innovating.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Another anonymous question: what is your dream band to go on tour with?
Well, we're actually going to a tour with our dream band. So we're going to the European tour starting in October with Lepros, which is one of our favorite bands.
Wow.
So that's a super cool opportunity. I don't know if it can get better, but Catatonia or Devin Townsend or something could be really cool, but Lepros is definitely up there.
Yeah, Sleep Token will be absolutely amazing. There are so many different ones, you know. Dream Theater has been a big influence as well, but let's see.
Yeah, what keeps you resilient when things don't seem to be working out?
I think it's a profound belief in your craft. We have been doing this for so long, and it's part of our personality. And even if it doesn't reach any commercial capacity, we will still keep doing it. It's in our blood. So we have faced issues. We have faced like financial situations. We have faced the feeling that it's not going anywhere. Of course, those are part of the path, but we keep going purely because of the passion, basically, for doing it. And yeah, we are taking it how far it can go.
One cool thing is that you always forget the perspective that you should take. It's really easy to, in the moment, see like this is not going anywhere. But when you look at that specific moment 3 years later, it was like, oh yeah, actually that was part of the process. So learning to trust that even though it doesn't feel like anything necessarily is happening, if you just keep on doing your craft, taking responsibility of those things that you are responsible for, that's everything you need.
Wow, that was deep. And then we have 2 very fun questions. Sami wants to know, Markus, what is your secret to look like a model? What shampoo do you use?
I wish I had a really funny answer to that. I think I just was really lucky to have my mom's genetics, because my dad's bald. Thanks, Mom. But yeah, that's not the shampoo.
And Anonymous wants to know what your favorite Pokemon is.
Oh,
Charizard.
That's a good one. Always Pikachu is always close to heart.
I bought a Pikachu. I went to Japan and bought a sleeping Pikachu to our studio. A little flex. Yeah. Here.
Yeah, something from the OG era. Jolteon was always one of my favorite ones. The spikes and the
Deep
electricity.
That's a nice question.
Is there anything else you want to say? This is your time to promote your album. Your show starts today as well.
Yeah, hopefully we've convinced you to be along on our journey that's about to take off, I guess. Hopefully see you tonight. And in the meanwhile, we have a ton of new songs coming out. You can check out Samsara, our newest single that was released a couple of days ago. And then expect new music every month from now until the album release this fall.
Hell yeah. You can see Royal Sorrow at 21 at the Gold Stage and give it up for them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, that was our talk with Royal Sorrow.
It was a really cool talk. Such a young band, really interesting answers to our questions, not only to get to know them a little bit better in their band history or as musicians, but also as humans. It was really nice to see how cool they were,
Yeah.
how mature they were. And yeah, I remember, Martha, you said something like, there's hope for there's hope for young metalheads yet. That was really heartwarming.
And yeah, they will be on tour with Leprous in November. They will be playing Euroblast Festival in Cologne, Germany. Make sure to see them. They're awesome.
We saw them at Tuska as well, and it's a really good performance. So keep an eye on Royal Sorrow and keep an eye on this podcast because we will be bringing you more of the Tuska Forum by Bleeding Metal 2025 sessions and all of the rest of our episodes. Till then.
Bye.